Hello, welcome to the Penno Channel. We're back for another show. I'm joined with my bro, as always. There's a lot of things to discuss around Villa, but before we get into it, if you could please subscribe if you're new around here, and also please let put your comments at the end of the video, or please put them in the live right now. We'd really appreciate hearing your thoughts because there's a lot to get through. We're going to talk about the transfer of Jacob Ramsey, the players and Vidagami, the comments that came out with, also up and coming transfers as well, and some other things around Villa. So, yeah, bro, how you doing? Let's get into this one because a lot has happened over the last few days.
Yeah, it feels like our transfer window is really heating up. I remember there was one point where there was like no activity at all. But yeah, we're getting into it now. And yeah, Jacob Ramsey, one of our own, going to Newcastle, man, in what looks like a PSR type deal. As you said, a lot of our players have spoken out about it. I'm hearing things like Ramsey didn't want to leave at all. He never wanted to leave Villa. And the contract that was given to him might not be the contract that people think it would represent, if that makes sense. So yeah, we'll get into that as well. And yes, some links today, bro, with players. Camvo, who you've been linked with before, and Nicholas Jackson looks to be on the radar for Emery, bro. We know how much Emery loves him, so yeah, can't wait to get into it.
Facts. I forgot to mention outgoings as well, because obviously I've just seen a video earlier of Leon Bailey out in Roma.
Giving it the big fours of Roma.
And also, just before we came on as well, Villa announced that Leander Dendoncourt's gone to Real Oviedo as well. So, lots going on. We'll get into the comments. Kevin joined. Thanks for joining, Kevin. He says Ramsey wanted more money, apparently, just when we had to reduce wages. How dumb is that? Yeah, we'll get into the whole things around Ramsey and the quotes and comments from the players and Vidagami as well. PS Sports joined. He says, up the Villa. Thanks for joining. He also says, outgoings FC at the moment, though. Yeah, it does seem like that, but the rumours are starting to come in now with potential incoming. So, yeah, we'll cover that as well. So then, bro, let's get on the whole Ramsey situation. Before the game against Newcastle, it was clearly done. There was photos going around of Ramsey at St James's Park being shown around. You know, the whole process of getting the shirt, him doing the video and the generic quotes and words that they state. But yeah, what was your thoughts after the transfer when it was officially announced and the comments coming out from, Tyrone Mings, very forthright with his comments. John Mcginn as well on his post stating it's a sad day. And even David Agami quote tweeting an interview that he did on TalkSport where he went through, how Villa are going about PSR and the difficulties there are. What was your thoughts on that and the reaction?
Yeah, I mean, it's clear that Ramsey was well liked in the dressing room just by the sheer amount of posts that were coming from players of all ages. I mean, I've seen even Robin Olsen putting a post on his story, and he's not even at the club, so it's clear Jacob was well liked at the club. Yeah. Firstly, touching on the fee, I think the fee is fine. 40 million, I think that sounds about right. I think without that ankle injury maybe 2 years ago, Ramsey doesn't get sold for that much, and it's more like the 70 million type figure if he would have like carried on his progress, but he just wasn't the same really, didn't really get that much rhythm after that injury. So I think 40 million is probably about right, 2 years left on his contract. On the contract itself, what do you think then? Do you think it was a contract where it was just like, we're going to protect the value of you as a business decision, where it's like a short extension, minimal wage increase? Or do you think it was more like an, we really like you as a player, we want to keep you here for forever and ever type of deal that it would have been with, say, for like Grealish back a day, if that makes sense? What type of deal do you think it was? And do you think that's why there might have been hesitation to sign it?
I reckon, so from the quotes from The Athletic going across from last year, it always seemed to me that Eddie Howe considered Jacob Ramsey as a high priority. Now, when you use words like high priority, that means you're going to offer them a significant wage increase. You consider them a first team player. Albeit Villa would have liked to have kept Jacob Ramsey with the situation the club's in currently, and maybe just how they view the player as well, because it's tough because Emery used to like Ramsey. Ramsey used to start games as well, but with the position and maybe, I don't know, just the amount of players that we have, the contract didn't quite match up where Ramsey expects to see himself at this current time. And the position within the squad. Maybe it was more stated that, you know, you'd be a squad player as such rather than a first teamer, and the contract reciprocated that. So with the way in which it was worded regarding Newcastle and how they view Jacob Ramsey and how Eddie Howe did, I just feel like the contract they offered him was probably way better than anything we put on the table. And that potentially made the decision for him easier. I don't know what your thoughts are. You're on mute, bro.
Apologies. You can tell we haven't podded in a while, innit? Yeah, it just depends. Like, obviously, Ramsey's not in the room when these negotiations are taking place, and it's what his agents are saying and that. It just depends, like, the type of contract that was on offer. Was Ramsey seeing other players that have come in, like Marlon, maybe Anana, like on reportedly 140 grand a week, and was he trying to ask to be matched with them guys, thinking that he's like served or brought a lot more to Villa than them guys have over the years? So it would depend on that, bro. But yeah, it does sound like Newcastle were offering him a better fee, and I think even tactically, if you think about Newcastle, that 4-3-3 system as a centre midfielder, I think that suits Ramsey more than out on the left here. I think that's more his game, and ironically, as bad as Gerrard was, I think he did get the best out of Ramsey playing him as a centre midfielder in that system. I think I watched Ramsey's interview for Newcastle, and he said he does prefer playing centre midfield rather than out on the left. So maybe that was influential as well in his decision with a World Cup coming up. We can't forget Tuchel did name drop him when he took over England, saying that he was on like the periphery of entering the squad. So there's lots of factors, bro. But for me, it's no hard feelings or anything. I don't really take that angle, that stance.
And I respect the fee as well. Like 40 million, I respect the fee. Consider if we were just to look at the numbers in isolation, no matter what we think of Jacob Ramsey, if you look at the numbers, they're just not. They haven't been there as such. Now you can put it down to a number of factors, being injuries over especially that season when he was really starting to hit his stride. You know, in the Euros, the under-21s, he was one of the best players for England, and that team had some absolute ballers you'd consider right now in Palmer and Morgan Gibbs-White, Anthony Gordon, etc. But yeah, the consistency wasn't there, and I always thought with Ramsey, I just know you can go to that next level. Maybe it was something to do with our shape and the way we play. As we stated, he was playing off on the left and he prefers playing in the midfield. And maybe he does go on at Newcastle to become the player I thought he would be, playing in a more comfortable position. And I think their style of football will suit him way more than ours does as such. So, yeah, bro, no hard feelings, got a good fee, and best of luck, man.
Yeah, 100% agree. And it'll just be interesting to see if we can spend what's left of that 40 million with these restrictions, man, how we're going to go about it. I mean, the links that we've seen today, bro, it seems like it's going off now that some of these players' wages have been moved on.
Yeah, facts, bro. We'll get into a few comments and we'll stick along the outgoing side of things. Duncan joined. Thanks for joining. Duncan, he says hi all. He also says Dendoncker has just gone. Good to get off the wage bill. Facts, and we'll get onto that as well, because that transfer window under Steven Gerrard, there's only one player remaining. He's proper transfer window, and that's Boubacar Kamara, who signed a new deal this summer. Everyone else has gone now. The remnants of Coutinho and now Leander Dendoncker are finally off our wage bill. Yeah, Dendoncker going, bro. It's just about time, innit? And thankfully we've got him off there.
Just one of them signings that at the time you just know you're gonna have to like live through it, and just it's so frustrating when you can't do anything about it. Like, I don't think it was hindsight for me as well. Like, I just remember at the time, deadline day, 13 million doesn't really improve your squad. Just one of them weird, like, in the middle signings that just stagnate the product, but no resale value.
We panicked. Yeah, definitely we panicked. Just going back on Ramsey, because there's a few Newcastle fans here with comments and want to address them. Ben Arthur, NUFC, thanks for joining. He says, what's Ramsey's weaknesses? Me personally, I think his weaknesses were I thought he could do more. And I don't know if that's a weakness as such, because his all-round game, I rate. His defensive actions are good. He positions himself well. He's good on the ball. He can turn. He can drive with the ball. Get him in good positions. He can shoot. He's got a wicked strike on him as well. I just feel like he'd go do like have games of nothing at times, and he'd just disappear. You wouldn't see him. You wouldn't notice him on the pitch at all. He'd just drift out of games. And again, as I said, our system's different. Playing off the left is a bit different, because I know he's meant to come inside, but he might not receive the ball as much as he would do now playing in the 8. And I think with your transitions and the way he play, it'd be so much better for his game. Don't know about you,
Yeah,
Paul.
I echo what my brother's saying. A lot of the times he didn't really rubber stamp his name on a match. When we signed Rodgers, there were a lot of games where you just like, okay, Morgan Rodgers has come to play here. Like, you notice him every single passage of play. Ramsey had a tendency to maybe like disappear in games and not really be a focal point. Like a lot of the times we'd win games without really noticing him on the pitch. But I'll touch on his strengths. I think his ball carrying, his shot power, and his ability to arrive in the box last minute. I think that's going to help Newcastle out quite a lot. So
yeah, facts, bro. Charles Hargan, Christiansen, thanks for joining. He says, hey, from a Newcastle fan, and wish you the best in this season. Good luck. Yeah, appreciate that. And same goes for you too. But let's just we just finished above Newcastle. But yeah, you can have a great season, get Champions League as well. But as long as we're above you, as long as we're above you, and don't batter us at St James's Park, man. I'm over it.
Oh, but I've already turned off the TV to the Ramsey goal. No celebration.
Thanks, man. Yeah, so going back to outgoes, bro, and then Donkos you touched on. Yeah, glad to get him gone now. And then Leon Bailey. Let's touch on Leon Bailey because that was a close one to us, seeing that player from Jamaica signing for Aston Villa, the star boy as such. That was huge for us. I remember watching him sign the contract. I think it was in COVID at the time because he was wearing a mask when he was signing the deal with his agent and his father, Craig Butler. It was a big deal. It was a big deal for me and you as well. So we really just wanted him to do well. Wanted him to succeed here and paying 30 million. He was part of that Grealish trifecta, which Perslow spoke about with Buendia and Danny Ings as well. I'll see him as the guy who had an unbelievable season, which led us to getting Champions League football, which is something I didn't envision us doing. I just didn't in my lifetime. Getting 19 goals and assists in that season, really being a star factor. Goals away at the Emirates, goal against City when we dominated them on the pitch. But overall, consistency has just not been there at all, man. It's just not been as consistent as I would have liked. Now, you could put that down to Diaby potentially, put pressure on him when he was here and then he turned into a different player. Injuries obviously played a part. I remember the game against Everton. I think that was his debut, weren't it, where he looked electric. I think he scored as well. And then Luca Dean scored an own goal that game for Everton against us. And then he got injured and then he managed to regain his form in the 23-24 season. But last season just wasn't good enough. It wasn't. And bro, I could see it coming.
Yeah, Bailey just a massive confidence player, if you ask me. That 23-24 season, like you could tell whenever he got the ball, there was anticipation from the crowd that he's going to take on his man, that he's going to deliver a great cross, or that he's going to get to the byline and skin a man and get a shot off. So massive confidence player. The beginning of his career, like he came off the bench against Watford, got an assist, came on against Everton, got a goal, but injuries, man, availability just hampered his career, and it was almost like foreboding what was going to happen for the rest of the seasons, just injuries and availability. I feel like it is a bit of like a what have you done for me lately in football, where you can have such a great season and the fans are appreciative, and then you're rewarded for the contract that he was given in that season. That is the reward from the club, that you've earned the contract. Then it just seemed after that contract, like the levels just dropped. Like, was he playing for a contract? I don't want to like speculate, but like it does feel like, do you know what I'm saying? Like he had to put in a world-class season to get that contract, to get that new deal, and then the season after it just didn't happen for him. Like I couldn't believe he was the same player at times. So much lack of confidence. It's crazy. I think his best display was Wembley against Crystal Palace when he came on at the end there, and he was our best player that game. But that weren't saying a lot that day. But he was cold. He still looked to get on the ball. So it's a shame really, because if he had the same season as he did in 2023-2024, I mean that's like a 60 million sale to like Real Madrid or something, isn't it? After a while or something like that.
Yeah, facts, bro. And just imagine if we did have that, we would have definitely got Champions League and maybe won something as well, man. So because he was so key that season, and missing his ability and his talent, it probably did affect us a bit, especially at the start of the season. Definitely, maybe with the reinforcements of Vincentio and Rashford, it kind of changed our turns, and with our form towards the end of the season, it definitely did. But the start of the season could have done with Bailey being on fire. You know what I mean? We really could have done.
Yeah, he's like his expected assist and creativity was high like that season. So if you're taking that out of the team and then you're taking a goal threat out of the team as well, like it's no wonder that we struggled at the start of last season. Like that's a massive gap to like. Imagine if like what's a good example? What happens if Saka's output just like massively declined for Arsenal? Like it's that type of level in terms of like relative to Villa. So yeah, it was hard to kind of like recover his lack of goals and assists last season, and we did struggle. So I wish him all the best, man. I think Serie A will suit him more. I think he's a player that needs to be loved, and I think Roma fans will love him if he performs. So hopefully he smashes it, and then they pay the 23 million. So yeah, big up Bailey, man. It was great to see a Jamaica player represent Villa in my time supporting Villa. Like that was massive. Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah,
Now
bro.
we
Yeah, I echo that. I just hope he smashes it and we get a fee. You know, they activate the buy option, which is 22 million euros. I think it was a lower loan fee just so that they cover all the wages for the season, wasn't it? Of what, 2 to 3 million euros. So yeah, man. Leon Bailey goes to Roma, which again vacates that position. We'll just touch on that quickly. That right wing position before we come on to incomings. Do you see someone coming in? You made a point to me offline the other day, which was really good, and you can say that regarding the player in the squad who's come back from loan and potentially looking at him in that position. Don't know what your thoughts are regarding that.
I think we need runners, bro. I really do. I think we need someone that can be an in-behind threat. We've got so many ball-to-feet players at the club in Rodgers, Watkins, Tillemans, Buendia, Gressand, to an extent, is a ball-to-feet player that likes to drop deep and link up. So I think we need runners in behind. The only one we've got
Marlon, isn't it?
the only one we got is Marlon, yeah. Marlon's the in-behind threat. And I made the point to you, bro. Illing Jr., like just by the sheer nature of him being a right winger and left-footed, is he going to be kept around? I thought he was interesting. He was on the bench on Saturday. He is naturally a right winger. Yeah, is he going to be kept around for Europa League games? I don't know, squad depth. But I think we need runners in behind. It's why the Jackson links have kind of like confused me a little bit when you think of like the profile of attackers that we already have at the club. So unless someone's leaving for Jackson to come in, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's interesting, man. But I do think we need a wide out-and-out winger.
Do you think potentially Unai sees Mcginn as that right mid for the season?
I think it depends on the game. I think it depends on the opposition.
Yeah,
because McGinn's never going to be.
Because I just can't see him playing Marlon on the right. I just don't see it. I don't know about you, but
But we've had nothing to suggest.
Trust Marlon's played on the right.
We've had nothing to suggest that he sees Marlon as like a right winger. Like
no, nothing at all. The games he played, so that means who is there? It's John McGinn, isn't it? Really, unless Rodgers goes back there.
Even Rodgers doesn't really run in behind like that as well, and he likes the ball to feet as well.
No. I was just thinking the profiles that he's played, the players that he's played there that I've witnessed. Apart from that,
Yeah.
so it's interesting.
I seen a Trossard link the other day as well. Like even he's not like a real in behind threat. He likes the ball to feet as well. Like
yeah, and he plays off. He's not really plays off the left, doesn't he?
Trossard. Yeah.
So again, maybe considers Rodgers and McGinn as the right mid options, and he's looking for another left-sided player, which will actually be the player to replace Jacob Ramsey. Don't know. Yeah, but let's get on to incomings, bro. And as you've touched on, actually, there's a few comments here first. We'll get into those. Kevin says,
by the way, if there's any mic issues on my side, sorry about that. I'm going to sort that soon. Just let us know in the comments if there's any mic issues.
Yeah, facts. Kevin says Ramsey's stats didn't deserve a high wage, unlike, say, Kamara. That's fair. That's a fair point. Duncan says Bailey, other than the derby season, has really struggled to me. It's fair as well. Kevin says, personally, there's no conspiracy other than the restrictions, which is kind of curtailing Villa. But he ain't far off. Just need Emery to remember who he is. stop with the baffling selections. Yeah, there was a few last season that made me wonder, and potentially I felt we went a bit too cautious on the weekend, but it is what it is. Duncan says, I think Ealing Jr. should be given a chance, proper pace. Yeah, I think he could be that option off the right for sure. Right, left-footed, come inside as well.
Yeah, for me, Ealing Jr. Sorry, just to cut you out. It's not even about talent for me. It's just about profile.
Yeah,
like he's genuinely the only guy in the squad that can hug the touchline on the right hand side. He's left-footed and can run in behind. Apart from Marlon, but it doesn't seem like Emery sees Marlon like that. So
and
I'm just thinking,
doesn't really play like that, does he?
Yeah. Like I remember when Ealing Jr. last season was playing left mid in this system. That is not his game. Tucked inside with the fullback overlapping. Like he needs to be on the touchline, Ealing Jr. And that's why I said podcasts ago he's got two positions at Villa: left back, which were pretty sorted on, and right wing. Like they're the only two positions I can see him like fulfilling his potential in. So if he's kept as right winger, like that really wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, same, bro. Flange says, thanks for joining. She said the whole financial rules are really yanking my chain now, losing the will to live, watching Man United spend yet in debt up to their eyeballs. It is what it is, man. Like we're just going to have to continue to deal with it, no matter how one-sided it does feel. But I can't see it changing anytime soon, bro. I mean, I just think even like the 105 million pound losses, how that hasn't increased due to inflation over time, and the cost of transfers compared to 10 years ago is just that doesn't make any sense to me, and that's just a small part of it. Do you know what I mean?
And then when you think about it, Villa asked the other clubs to be raised. So this ain't even a Premier League thing. Villa asked the other clubs to raise it to 135 million, and everyone rejected it. But that's not even a Premier League thing. That's other clubs. Like
yeah. It's what it is, man. It just makes you think. There's clubs that want to. There's the big six. There's clubs that want to challenge, and there's clubs that are happy where they are. And those clubs that are happy where they are, don't want the others to get further away and progress, because they don't want to have to explain to fans, or they don't want to that they have to spend more money to try and compete. Some clubs are just comfortable at that point and are happy for it to be like that.
I feel like Fulham are a good example of that. Their fans are just always like, "Why aren't we signing players?" Like it feels.
Well, they haven't spent anything. They haven't sold anyone. Like literally 0-0, aren't they?
That's why I think I said to the other day that doing a Fulham slang term that we use, that catchphrase that used to get hit at us the first season, it actually makes sense now.
Facts. Dunk says teams finishing 17th, 18th allowed to sign silly money is a proper joke. Yeah, I get that. They get that parachute payment, don't they? From coming, they get the parachute payment from those that have been relegated, and then coming up as well, they get a lot of money. And I think they should get the opportunity to invest and spend if you've been promoted, because it's so difficult to stay in this league as is. Pay for staff lunch is absolute farce. Yeah, United have spent 200 million and have made no sales at the moment, so it's a bit mad. It is mad. Kieran's joined. Thanks for joining. He says, as a Newcastle fan, I'd rather sell to clubs like Villa, good players together, so always getting better to fight the big six. Yeah, I hear that. I do hear that as well. Like, just need more clubs like us to try and break it, man, because they'll get too far away. But PSR being in place to protect those, and not making them leave the league and join the Super League and create a Super League. It just seems one way football's going, bro, and that a Super League will be in place at some point. Don't know when it will be. It just feels that way, innit? Don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Newcastle had to sell Elliot Anderson, who's an absolute baller, to Nottingham Forest to comply, and he was a boyhood Newcastle fan as well. Was going to their Wembley game against Liverpool in the Carling Cup last year, so that one's almost just as painful as the Ramsey one for them, I'd imagine, as it is for us. So it's crazy.
Considering how he's playing now.
Oh, he's a baller.
He's a baller, isn't he? He's an absolute baller. Quick one, Kevin, before we go back to what we were discussing. He says, no excuses at Brentford. They are severely weakened. Play pace, Maatson, and God forbid, Marlon as well. Yeah, we'll do a preview show for that on, Kevin, so make sure to check that out when we do. So yeah, bro, outgoings, Dendonka and Bailey, adding on to the others we've had so far this summer. Incomings, let's go. So there was reports today of a potential bid for Camvoy being rejected. Now, I wasn't sure this was crossed with David Ornstein's reports that happened. Was it like a month ago where he said we'd already
Probably
had
longer, you know.
that we'd already had a bid rejected, and it was just someone refiltering the message of that, or whether there's been further developments on that. 18-year-old French centre back, Plage Toulouse, has a lot of attributes we could do with. Again, though, do we sign him? If we do sign him and keep him in the squad, does he go out on loan? There's a lot of factors around it, but yeah, bro, thoughts on that? If it is a new bid at all?
Yeah, it seemed like from his report that he was saying that Villa were preparing for an offer. He just wanted to say the rejected part. That's how I read it.
Yeah.
And that's how like my copium's going to take it, because I want this player to sign. So I'm going to just believe what I want to hear in it. 20 million, I think that's a great fee for a talent like that. And it makes sense. Like, you have Konza, who's about to turn 28. You bring in the guy that's a decade younger, and you slowly like show him the ropes. And he's already got that league on experience. Like, he's starting games. He's not like a scrub that's like, not a scrub, sorry, an unexperienced guy that's like not starting games for his club. It's interesting though. We signed Keba Cisse. Like, isn't he a right centre back as well? Like, what's the?
Yeah, facts. He's sounding eerishly Oscanish at the minute. I can't lie. Even though the fee's like £18 million, whatever it is, Oscan was what, 7?
I mean,
it's just sounding. I know we would have been saying, back up to Tyrone, understudy to Tyrone Mings, Turkish international, can develop, and then loan with option to buy. Yeah.
I'll be so real. When I got sent like Ozcan had an option to buy, I thought it was a joke. Like, I thought, because bro, Ozcan, we're talking about a guy with a lot of experience who's getting called up for his national team at 19.
Yeah, facts.
Like, this isn't some any guy. Like, this is a serious talent. And to put an option, honestly, I think it's so like short-sighted, that one, bro. Like, I don't know. Like, I've heard on some podcasts, like, credible journalists saying that the data department was shocked to hear like an option to buy was put in his contract by their seniors at the club, who would be like Munchie, I guess, and Emery. So whether there's like conflict there in terms of like how they saw Ozcan and his future at Villa, and how the finance guys saw Ozcan, and
facts.
Like,
facts.
But I was genuinely shocked at Ozcan.
That one did shock me. That one.
Yeah, when I saw Ozcan, I thought, oh my god, anyone can get it. Like, that's
literally
like...
that's what I'm saying, bro. Even the fee here, like, who knows? Maybe it's I hope not. And the fee makes me think not, but who knows? Who knows at the end of the day? But yeah,
I just want to say one last point though. Like, I do understand that we're in two markets now, and I understand like the logic and the theory behind buying and selling cheap for like 2 million. Like, I understand it, but I do think there's a danger of opportunity cost of selling early. Like, let's just do like a thought experiment. Imagine like Duran, when he was signed at 19 for however much. Imagine if he was sold for like 2 million just like the next year, and like you never get to see him develop. And then that would have been an opportunity cost of what, 40 million coming into the club, because he was eventually like, I do think there's a danger of that, where like we're selling genuine talents like for so cheap short term. Like, I guess you have to weigh up.
And it's the player factor. Ozcan, the quotes from Ozcan was he was over the moon with the move, and then being loaned out with an option to buy without playing at all. That's kind of mad. That's kind of mad when he's moved from Turkey. He's only 19 years old, thinking he's come to play for a Premier League side, and then he's loaned out with a club having an option to purchase him.
Bro, Emery was telling him to be ready for pre-season, like, make sure you're ready and that. So
that's the ups and downs of it. We can see the logic, of course. There is a lot of logic behind it. When we're in a situation where this is logical, but it's the morality is a bit weird as well, don't you think?
It's a bit mad, yeah.
But anyway, we'll move on from that, and probably the big one that's come out today, bro. Nicholas Jackson. Now, Pletty, who I don't really trust as a source, to be honest. He kind of said, Villa are exploring options with Nicholas Jackson, whether they can do anything. But Matt Law's come out about an hour ago and stated, Villa actually do have interest in Nicholas Jackson, and they're trying to explore ways in which a deal could possibly be done. He also stated that it doesn't involve Ollie Watkins leaving. He stated that. So, what are the options, bro? Let's discuss. And what's your thoughts on Nicholas Jackson? Because he's always a player that will have links to Villa. Just because Unai managed him at Villarreal, he kind of, made him the player he kind of is at Chelsea. He's a Marmite player. Some love him, some hate him. Depends how you look at it. You look at the chances missed, you'd be like, who's that? For me, I like his build-up, his hold-up play. I think he was integral. I think when Chelsea were at their best, Nicholas Jackson was at his best because he was able to link play and bring players like Cole Palmer and Pedro Neto and that into play. I think he gets into good positions as well. And with Unai working with him again, and we know how Unai works with strikers, if he has more time under Emery, I just feel like he could become some player. What are your thoughts on Jackson? And then we'll get into like the structure of the deal and how it could potentially happen.
Yeah, like as you know, me and you, we've always rated Jackson to an extent, like how he can drop deep, how he can link play. Obviously, there's question marks over his finishing. I completely understand that as well, but he gets into positions to score always. Like he's really good at that. My thing with Jackson is, as I said earlier, we've got so many players now that like to drop deep and collect the ball. And if we've just signed Gesson, who is such a similar profile in terms of like dropping deep, taking his man on, late time runs into the box, passing, creativity, all that stuff, that is such a similar profile to Jackson. So I'll be honest, I know what they've said with Watkins and that, but if we sign Jackson on loan, that would, to me, say one of the attackers is gone. Like I can't see Gesson, Jackson, Rodgers, Watkins. That's four similar players in a way. If that makes sense, like unless we're going like just full depth and control and no real runners and just trying to play our way. But I don't know. It would surprise me. Gesson and Jackson would surprise me, both of them.
One thing we never spoke of with Bailey leaving and Ian Junior is Gesson playing off the right. We didn't mention that. In pre-season, it's pre-season, and he only played 2 sub appearances, but he came on as a striker. He come on for Watkins in both. So he came on as a 9. But
he played on the left, bro, against Villarreal.
Yeah, and he played on the left, which he can do as well. I think he can do that quite well.
He's versatile.
But yeah, I think McGinn's part of that front 4 majority of games. So then it leaves 3 positions. If Watkins stays, that leaves 2 positions. It's options, of course, but Nicholas Jackson, I don't think comes to Villa as an option. Do you know what I mean? I think he has guarantees as such.
He's leaving Chelsea because of João Pedro and Delap being in front of him. Like, is he going to do that at Villa? Like,
so yeah, it does make, and then Morgan Rogers plays. So that's kind of your 4, isn't it? Really. So maybe Kevin says Gasson off the bench. Then does Jackson move back to left wing, which he kind of played at Villarreal? I don't know. It is a weird one. And Matt Law saying those comments around Watkins not leaving either, like without the sale of Watkins, it's not anything to do with that. It's just.
Sorry, that sounds like a brief to me. I can't.
Yeah, it sounds mad, doesn't it?
that sounds like make sure you say Watkins isn't. I don't want to like slander a journalist or anything, but that does feel like make sure you tell like this isn't Watkins. Like, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Where do you envisage? I can't even say the word, man. Jackson playing
up front. Yeah, up front. Either as AM or a striker.
Yeah, we've got a few comments in here, which is good because I like to hear your guys' opinions. Around Jackson. Kevin says Jackson got 11 goals last season on 100 grand per week, far less than Bailey, with 1 goal last season. Interesting if it's a loan. Yeah. I'm not going to whisper Rodgers going, but maybe that's another option. Obviously, I don't want that to happen, but Rodgers is always linked to Chelsea, so.
I think with Chelsea will be. You'd have to keep an eye on that Xavi Simons deal, wouldn't you? Like I was hoping that went through just to like end the Rodgers links. That deal still hasn't gone through yet.
Yeah, facts. Kevin says Jackson left, Rodgers middle, Marlon right, frightening. It is, but I agree with you, Kevin. And Unai doesn't play that way. Like it's rare for Unai to play I can't see a game where Unai plays all of those together. Can you? Like, I just don't see that happening. Just the way we set up.
I'd be worrying about like Gesson's like like Gesson's not like 21. He's like 24, man. Like I don't want to stunt like
Yeah, I know.
bringing in the exact same profile that Emery loves. That's gonna start like.
Bro,
This
we
is what I
seen
mean.
Marlon. Marlon
Like
didn't get.
like we spent a lot of money on
from
Gesson.
January to the last season, Marlon.
Bro, we spent a lot of money on Gesson. I don't want to like I want to be seeing him getting like more than 20 starts like in the league. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I think Marlon's only started 4 games since he joined Villa.
Yeah, Duncan said Gaston can play winger or striker. Yeah, facts, he can, Duncan, and we know a lot of these players are versatile. They can play in various positions, of course. More to the fact that just where does Jackson fit in all of this is kind of the question. Where does he play? Because is it Rodgers back in the 10, Jackson off the left, Jackson second striker with Watkins? It seemed too similar to do that. Mcginn, because McGinn's going to play. I just think McGinn always plays. Well, the big games anyway. But yeah, Nicky says up the Villa. I appreciate that, Nicky. Kevin saying Watkins going nowhere. Yeah, I think that as well. I don't think he is. Marcus, thanks for joining. He says Gaston can play across the front and number 10 role. Yeah, he can. Facts. But we're just saying that like McGinn, Rodgers are like guaranteed starters. What were you saying? 80%, maybe 90% of the time. Watkins is Watkins. So that's 3 of them. So if you bring in a Jackson, Gasson, Marlon, the kind of bench options, I don't know. Nicky said news constitution, bro. I hope you bring the content. Appreciate it, Nicky. Really appreciate it. Thanks for that. Yeah, we are back in full effect now. Kevin says, nah, Rodgers 100% not going this window. I hope so. I hope so, Kevin. I hope so. Yeah, Marcus talking about Moreno. Yeah, hopefully that happens as well in regards to him going back to Betis. Adieme's put a comment around Newcastle, but yeah, not really looking at that. Marcus says Leeds looking at Buendia. Yeah, again, Emi Buendia, he's still here. What happens with him? Let me see more of these. Jimmy, thanks for joining, Jimmy. I think he's a Newcastle fan. He said you might get Jackson, which means Newcastle could get Watkins. I mean, who knows? There's so many things that can happen in the last few weeks.
Look at that, bro. Look at that Jan Wissa deal. Like they thought they were signing Wissa. That's not happening now.
Facts.
Like things have changed. Like I've seen Strand Larson linked. Do they now? Like things change, and we know Villa aren't against selling players. Like we know this. Like we've been trained now to know that Villa aren't against. They pivot a lot in the market. So let's see, man. I can't confidently say I don't think any of our attackers will leave, but I'd like to keep them. But Jackson links, like, I don't know.
when you think of the kind of profile we need, for me, who am I? But for me, Jackson's not that. It's just not that. With what we have at the moment, unless things change.
You'd think for us, we'd need like a Tyreek George from Chelsea more than like a. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
just
a right.
Off the right.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
But maybe Emery wants like about 4 ball to feet players up front, and then we just
interchange.
Maybe he's changed the runners. Maybe you don't want.
Facts. No, you're right, bro. You are right, and to be honest, when we played the 4 of Watkins, Ramsey, Rodgers, McGinn, that's what it was, in effect, isn't it? There's no runners when we played that shape, or those players in those profiles and areas. But yeah, Duncan saying if Jackson does sign, can Buendia then go? Maybe he's coming for Emi Buendia. Are they on similar money, do you reckon? Potentially.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, potentially. That's a good point, Duncan. But yeah, so many. It's a big one. That is. It is a big one because for me, if that does materialise, and going off Matt Law quotes here, who knows? But it does seem like we have an interest. If that does, it's just
Do you think?
I feel like he gets Jackson, Jackson becomes a starter.
Yeah, Jackson's 100% start. Emery loves Jackson. Like Jackson's 100%. Do you think the Jackson links are in with the Trossard and Asensio type list?
No.
Where like we're looking at a specific caliber of player with a certain amount of money for a loan deal to happen. Because if we sign Jackson, then Asensio is not needed. Like that would be ridiculous. Like you have so many of the same profile already.
But
Like,
I always think Asensio would be if Buendia left. That's my thinking. Buendia goes, I think Asensio comes in.
yeah, but it's the wage difference I'm more thinking about. Like if you think about Jackson, and if you have Jackson come in, then you jump from Buendia's wages to Asensio's wages as well. Like,
well, what's Asensio? 125, 125.
to be fair, I don't have a complete figure.
Yeah,
It depends how much we'd pay because he'd
I
be
don't.
alone from.
How much do you reckon Buendia is on?
I'm not sure. I know he got a new deal recently, but that was to protect the value in it. Like,
Yeah,
Buendia hasn't got. Has Buendia got a new contract since he signed for Villa? I don't think he has.
but I reckon he got a decent contract coming in as a £40 million player at the time.
What do you think? 100.
Don't think it'd be too dissimilar. Don't think it'd be too far off. But yeah, yeah, the terms Asensio might come in on. I don't even think they'd be anywhere near his PSG terms. I just don't on a loan. I don't see us covering it all. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Like there's so many those Asensio, Jackson, Trossard just seem like three different profiles to me. In my like one, Jackson's a striker, can play left wing. Trossard's I don't see him as a 9, I see him as a left winger. I think that's where he's at his best, coming inside, and then Asensio is a 10.
Do you not think Jackson's a 10?
He can play as a 10, but I don't see
in
Emery,
an Emery system. It's not what he did at Chelsea.
I don't see Emery using him as a 10. I
But
think
he did at Villarreal, though. That's kind of my point. Like Danjuma used to make the runs in front and Jackson would drop deep and link up play. Like,
but yeah, I'd see him as a 9. I think he'd be the 9 for us and do that. I'm saying he'd be in instead of Watkins.
So hypothetically, do you think Jackson and Watkins could play together? Because I could see that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see you not doing that. I don't know. Maybe they could, and that would be interesting. That would be interesting to see. To be fair, that would be interesting.
But yeah, I just want to make it clear. Like, I'm not against the idea of Jackson coming to Villa. I'm more basing it on the profile we've already. Like, Gassandi is so similar. Like in terms of dropping deep, that little flick that he can do to link up play, running channels, box crashing, getting into the box. Like, there's such a similar profile. Like, if you spend 25 million on Gassand and then bring in Jackson, it's like surely someone would have to go. Like, that's just how I think about it. And that's how I see it, to be honest.
We'll see how it develops, bro. But yeah, in terms of Jackson the player, I like Jackson the player, and I think he could offer us something. It's just how the deal gets done. If there are any outgoings that involve that, who are they, and where would he play?
Yeah, I think there would be a lot of. I think there would be a lot of. Oh, I didn't know he was that good from like the fans. But Jackson, I think his reputation's a bit lower than what he actually is.
Yeah. He's underrated. I think he's underrated. I do think he's underrated.
He gets a lot of stick. I get why he gets a lot of stick. Because in the big moments of the pressure at Chelsea, like he does do a lot of like shit. You think, what are you doing? But
yeah, and then obviously with the disciplinary action towards him last season, the penalty incident where he took the ball off Cole Palmer, like he's done stupid things in it. Like he's done, which I can see you'd be like, what the hell?
But he's in terms of how we play, like if Tielemans is fizzing a ball into Jackson, like his touch is gonna be crisp. Like he's gonna like bend the ball.
Jackson tearing Saliba apart, like he's a good player, and he's playing with Emery, and he came out in an interview and literally said, "I learned everything because of Unai Emery." He basically said that in the interviews, like he taught me everything on the sort of.
He knows the system. Yeah, he knows the system.
Yeah, bro. Anything else you want to cover?
Who do you think should come in for Konza Saturday?
I don't think anyone should come in. I think Boubacar Kamara should go back, and then
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, who do you think should play there?
I just can't see it happening. One of Marlon or Gassan, but I don't think it happens. Yeah, so drop Boubacar back into centre back and Tielemans back in alongside Onana.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I was actually thinking, like, I was so set on the Kamara centre back, and someone was like, "Why do you want to take Kamara at his best position?" And I thought, maybe Bogard. Could he be trusted? Like, he's played well in pre-season. Like,
yeah, facts.
I remember Bogard. He came on at left centre back against Chelsea last season, and he was incredible. But that was left centre back, and that was coming off the bench, I think. So I don't think he's starting.
Yeah, it's interesting to see if Unai, Bogard gets the shout, and he's finally like. That's a big statement if Bogard starts centre back at the weekend.
Yeah.
He's playing in pre-season, and then I think that means I don't think Tielemans plays in the 10 against Brentford.
Hopefully not, man. Please, Unai, take Tielemans out of the 10 when we need him in the build-up deeper. Yeah.
I don't know. Options, man. Options. Yeah. Again, Ken says Mings and Torres. Can't see it myself. Now I can't see it. I think if it was Mings and Torres would have come on at the weekend.
Two left foot, isn't it? It's not really Unai. Unless he's forced to do it, it's not really his style, is it?
Yeah, facts. Big up. It's all about Newcastle. Newcastle fan here, allowed to come in peace. Villa, Newcastle, Forest and others need to ruffle the feathers of the Cup 6. Yeah, facts. Big facts. And I'm starting to do that, and hopefully it continues over the seasons coming. If we continue to establish ourselves in Europe, over time, you hope that we can catch up. But yeah, we'll see how it goes, man. Anyway, bro, I think we'll call it there. Great episode. The comments were quality. Appreciate it. Going live, it's good to hear your guys' thoughts as well and discuss them. So really appreciate you guys being in here. Again, if you are new around here, there's a few new faces sitting in the chat. If you could please subscribe, really appreciate that as well. And also, what helps the videos is if you can comment at the end or when the video is published, if you can leave your comments and thoughts in the comment section. We always look over them as well, so please do, and we'll respond to them as well. Again, really appreciate you all joining. Bro, as ever, appreciate it.
Yeah, love doing these podcasts, bro. Going to be more consistent this year and just, man, up the Villa. It seems like there's something that happens with Villa every single day right now. So
facts.
I'm sure we'll be posting more videos, man.
League's back, so it's always going to be busy, man. Yeah. Anyway, thanks all, guys, and we'll see you at the Brentford preview. Cheers.